All right, we're going to get started. Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Woo-hoo, we love our real estate live on Fridays. So, with that, I'll introduce myself. I'll let Todd introduce himself so you can get to know us a little bit. I'm Misty. I've been in real estate for a very long time, but in 2015, I decided to launch a brokerage and started a team. I did it as a broker owner for the first 10 years. And then we moved our brokerage over to a bigger brokerage. And since then, we've been evolving from there. But more recently, we joined LPT and we are starting a new version of our, we'll call it a team, but a smarter, more precise, efficient way of building a team.
Would say it's more focused on the micro side of the
Yeah, building
team.
smarter, not harder. So that's where we're at now. And we decided as we're making all these changes, it would be a great time to share with the rest of the world what we're doing, why it's working, how we're winning, and the lessons that we learned along the way on what you shouldn't do as you're building a team, because there are some pain points. So that's a little about my story.
And I'm Todd Spencer. I came from the land development background. I've got 30 years of land development experience from building subdivisions all the way up to project managing them and overseeing all the development. I became a project manager for D.R. Horton, got laid off, and Misty told me to get my real estate license, and I never looked back. Never been happier, and work for myself, which is amazing. That's my story. I got into real estate in 2015 and I've been crushing it ever since.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks for sharing that. So, last week we did a little Q&A and dug into where we were on our changes, but this week I think we're going to flip the script a little bit. Todd's going to ask me some questions about my journey. I definitely have a very long journey in real estate, especially in the team leader element. I've been, like I said earlier, a broker owner and now more of a team leader working at LPT Realty. That's really what started and inspired this webinar series that we're doing. So we can just dig in. You can ask me some questions and let's just get to the nitty gritty of what's going down.
Well, Misty, let's start with your story. How did you get into real estate? What led you to become a team leader?
Yeah. So I've been in real estate full time, building a real business since 2015. I became a team leader because Todd and I were really busy with our real estate business. And when I say busy, we were working, we still work a lot, but we were working around the clock and we were literally exhausted. So we got some expensive coaching, which was amazing. Looking back, it was probably one of the best things we did for our business.
You were pretty meek and mild, but
I am a lot different than I was back then. That's right. I was a very successful real estate agent, but I was a very inexperienced leader, I guess, in 2015. So that's where my journey has really taken me over the last 10 years is leadership. So back to the question of why I started building the team, it was to get leverage. That coaching that we got said, you should build a team. You should build a big team and you should make a lot of money off of that team, which in theory, yes, it makes sense. It's logical. When you put pen to paper, you think I hire 10, 20, 30. Our vision was to have more than 100 agents and you make money off of those agents, and building a team should be profitable. What they don't tell you behind the scenes, though, is the pain point that you get into when you have all these people that not necessarily buy into the vision that you have of working full-time real estate and doing the things that make the team leader money. So ultimately, the reasons I got in are for the leverage and the thought that it should be a profitable business. But what we actually found from it was we lost time, we lost motivation, we lost inspiration, and most recently, we burned it all down. We really did. We burned it to the ground, and it was probably the best thing we've ever done. I'll speak for both of us, but I think we both feel a lot more free in the business version that we're building now.
Yes. I think we are very much freer than we have been in the last, 10 years?
Yeah. Tied to the grind
Any
of the team.
What would you give to people here watching advice on from being a solo agent to building a team?
Oh, that's a hard one. So advice, I talk to a lot of you on a daily basis, and I know that taking that transition, I'm reflecting back because it's been a while. We've been team leading for a very long time. But at the end of the day, realizing, and I see questions coming in, I'll get to them, I promise, here in a little while. I think from what I see on the other side of team leaders is a lot of the goal is to get out of production. That was my number one goal when I started a team was to get out of production. It was like that was the golden egg. And I think that was probably the one thing that
If you had to do over again, would you have gone out of production?
I would not have, and there's many reasons why, and it sounds very counterproductive, but what I started doing was building a business around people that didn't have the same vision I did, and when I got fully out of production, I really lost sight of what the real estate business was really about. Now, Todd has always been in production. He's been our crutch all along the way, but that's what you wanted to do. You never really had a vision of getting out.
I would say if I was gonna give somebody advice on what work solo agent versus team, the team allows you to level up your business to where you can actually go on and move on to bigger and better deals and up the quality of the properties you sell. Now, I still sell everything, but at the end of the day, if I have a choice between going to do $1 million deal or doing a $50,000 deal, I'm gonna hand the $50,000 deal off to a team member,
Mhm. Yeah.
and then I'm gonna keep moving forward. But if I'm not busy, I will take that $50,000 deal. It's really how you leverage your time on that.
Yeah, definitely. A question, what was it that helped you realize you needed to burn it all down? So many red flags. I wish we would have identified the red flags early on. What was the saying that I told you yesterday? A red flag is just a glimpse into your future.
Yes.
It's true. There were so many things that we should have realized along the way. I think financially, we needed to realize that no matter how many agents we added. Now, I do believe that you can recruit yourself into a situation where you get more profitable. But let me tell you the reasons. I have a lot of mentors that are well advanced, 1,000 agent brokerages. One of my dearest friends has an agency. Actually, he was at 1,000 agents and he moved his team over to LPT. And just talking to him, I realized even at 1,000 agents, he wasn't any more profitable than we were as a smaller brokerage. So that was a glimpse into the future. But realizing that we were not happy. Number one, we were drained. We started a team so that we could get more time back, and we never gained that time back. We seemed to get more stressed, less happy, more financially burdened, and we just kept pouring into our agents, pouring and pouring our souls and everything we had into helping them. And they didn't have the same work ethics as we did. And it's not their fault. It's just that we expected more from them than they needed from us. So we had these expectations and thought that they wanted everything that we had, but ultimately it really just wasn't moving the needle forward. I mean, would you agree? What were the signs that helped you realize when we decided to burn it down and just start
I
over?
would say that when the market started shifting, things started tightening up. We figured out really quick we needed to find a place to take our agents to. Basically, that was a stepping stone. And now we're starting anew at LPT. I really think that was the catalyst because at the end of the day, if you're going into being a team leader, sometimes it's better to make that decision. If you got 5 agents, one is producing, the hard thing to do is to let those 4 non-producers go because everybody has a heart. It's better for you to just go with that one producer and build your team smaller with the producers and keep leveling it up and keep letting go of the non-producers. So that's where the old saying of you want to fly with the eagles and not with the turkeys.
Absolutely. Who you associate with matters more than anything. And we're feeling that at such a high level. We've always associated with people that inspire us. That's really important as far as the brokerage we're with or the coaching company we're with. You really have to think about it when it comes to your agent population. Who you associate with matters. And when you're just starting to build that first team, you're not confident enough to go and attract those people that you necessarily want. You get into that grind of just hiring anybody and everybody. And that's where we went wrong early on when we had our brokerage. We realized we're just hiring really anybody, and it was bringing down the bar on our company was just really low. And then we just got into this grind of leveling it up, and the leveling up was impossible because it's heartbreak over and over again. You've got to let people go, or you've got to figure out what to do. So somebody had another question.
I think that one kind of leads in, that question leads into burning down question. What we were burning down was all the coaching and all the stuff that we learned early on. Said to build a team, add everybody you can.
Numbers. It was all about the numbers. Numbers matter. More agents, just chase that recruiting because you'll finally get to the point where you'll make money. And we did buy into that. And there was a point, but I think it was at the point where the market shifted and it was doing really good that we did make a lot of
And
money.
the market was easy and moving fast, and everybody was selling homes because it was easy to sell homes. Numbers did work. The market we're
When
in,
the market
when
shifted.
it shifted in 23 and 24, it's not a numbers game. It's about the people that get out there and actually do the grind. And you want your team to have the grinders.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're going to make more money. I think less is better.
Less shiny object.
So the question on focusing more on building a team again or building the downline, I think the answer to the question is we're going to be doing both, because we're going to be building a quality team, and then everybody else can go in the downline.
I think a lot of it too is mindset. So somebody else had a question. What was the first step you took after deciding to start over? It's been a really long transition for us. So in 2023, I think it was, Todd and I moved what was our brokerage at the time over to Real Broker. And we did that because we bought into the vision of the downline. We went to Mexico. Actually, it was a funny story. We went to Mexico with EXP. They paid for our trip trying to recruit us. We went there and we sat on a beach, beautiful beach where we Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah.
We sat there and we listened to everybody talk about all the money they were making in a downline. And we heard it and we thought we should do this. So we came back from that trip within our minds, we're going to do this. We're tired of being broker owners. Let's do this. But the EXP model, or just the EXP at that time, was a really big stigma. Everybody was like, ew, the EXP, the downline building stuff. So we came back and we said, we can't do this. We can't. We've been building this brokerage with everything we had, every amount of money we poured back into it. And so we decided not to do that at that time. But then in early 20, I guess it was, I don't remember what, maybe I have my years wrong. That might have been like 22. And then in 2023, at that time, we still had a fairly good sized team and we hadn't really grown. We hadn't really shrunk, but we hadn't really grown. And we knew that team that was with us had been with us for so long. They needed all the expensive things that we had been providing. So the transition to getting out of that really was, we had to make a decision on what to do with that team. We ultimately joined another brokerage, which was the catalyst to getting us to where we're at now. We took that team to that brokerage to get them everything they needed. They provided all those expensive things that we had provided that we just didn't want anymore. Todd and I did not want those things. And I'm talking like the expensive CRMs. Yes, we're still technology driven. We took this team over to another brokerage and we gave them everything what they needed and we departed. We said, guys, we're doing it a different way. Todd and I are moving to LPT and we're building different this time.
We met that brokerage with a mindset because they were providing so many shiny objects.
So many.
It was too much for me because I couldn't focus on my business. So that goes on to another advice in this market. I think less is better. I really do.
Yeah, shiny objects are great when we say that. You do need a CRM. You do need a website where your clients can search. Right now at LPT, we have Lofty, and I love it. It's simple. It's complicated enough, but it's super simple. And I don't really think we need. Is there anything else that we need? I do run like seller appointments and different things like that. I have a bunch of systems behind the scene where I refer out seller appointments. So if anybody on this webinar wants any of that, I do it on referral basis. We are in the rebuilding phase. We are going to focus on building out a downline, really talking to team leaders out there that are in the struggle that we're in, that maybe realize this isn't working. Most team leaders that I know are now back into production. I'm talking big team leaders too. These are people that I look up to that are mentors to me. I ultimately had to get back into production and I'm loving it. I look back and realize I should have never gotten out of production. I should have used leverage, more leverage. I should have used our team as leverage instead of thinking that they were going to replace me. I should have used them as right now we have showing partners. We have listing partners. We have ISAs, inside sales agents. We have transaction coordinators. So Todd and I are leveraging all of those services as our team, and we're going to scale that out. So that's the version of the team that we're going to have now. I wouldn't say it's a micro team because a micro team is a little bit different. But for us, we still have a lot of leads. We still pay for a lot of online leads, like we have Zillow and Realtor.com. We only have the good ones and the ones that are hyper local here with where we're at. We gave away all the other stuff that was feeding all the other agents. But with that, we're just going to leverage these high dollar leads and put a team around us that is just a top notch group of people that want to work in our area with the technology and the leads that we have. So do you have any thoughts on that?
What's the hardest part about being a leader in the real estate industry today?
The hardest part of being a leader, I think, is the shiny objects. That's a really good point. I think the hardest part being in LPT was the fact that we would hire agents and they would leave, and all the amount of time and money that we invested in them, we never got anything back in return. Maybe they closed a few deals with us, but then they got recruited out of our brokerage into the next brokerage. It's really hard to compete these days with these cloud brokerages. So cloud brokerage being EXP, Real Broker, LPT, Epic. Oh my gosh, there's so many of them. But with that, I think that's the hardest part, is keeping a group of agents together that have the same vision and run at the same speed.
No, I agree.
I mean, that you could speak to that because Todd is a hustler though. Todd closes a lot of real estate. His best year was 100 closed deals. Our worst year was last year. I don't even want to say what our numbers were. They were painful, but I think that's because we were in the process of burning it down and we just didn't realize we were burning it down.
And I was at a different brokerage that had way too many shiny objects that were distracting me, and I was still a top producer within the brokerage. I'm embarrassed about my numbers, but hey.
But last year was hard, and we've been through a lot of change. Todd and I were so far out of alignment from where we wanted to be. We had spent so much time and money building the team and the brokerage and just hiring and recruiting and bringing in these big numbers of agents, just to find that we really hadn't progressed our vision and where we wanted to be. At this time, we have a 7-year plan. We want to be 7 years down the road. We want to be able to be on a beach at any given time without anything tying us back. We had not, in that 10 years that we were building the team, we never progressed that vision. It was constantly needed more of us, more time, more money, more just more of everything. And so we were really just unhappy with all of that. And we really just had to make a decision. So at this point, we're building out a 7-year vision and we're going all in. We know we're in the right brokerage. We know we're with the right people. We know our vision by heart. We've always known it, but we kept listening to everybody in the industry saying, "You're just in the messy middle. You're in the messy middle." We were in the messy middle for a good 8 years of the time that we spent building, and I'm sorry, but the messy middle, I just don't think if my friends had 1,000 agents and they haven't conquered the messy middle, how much growth and money and time do we really need to give to get out of the messy middle? I think we just realized that building these days is just different. It's just different. It's not like it was.
In real estate, it goes back to real estate. Real estate is the moneymaker, and building the team is just the leverage. And you just got to build smarter, not harder.
You really do have to build smarter, not harder. I'll be honest. That's really, truly what it comes down to. And having multiple streams of income. For me, multiple streams used to mean let's bring in mortgage, let's bring in a title. We had all these ventures that we were doing. None of them ever really provided income. They just provided more time suck and more liability and more problems. I always knew that leveraging that income was incredibly important. We do have rental houses. That was something we were able to accomplish over the 10-year stint. That was part of the vision. And thank goodness we were able to accumulate some of those because that will be future revenue coming in. But with that, it definitely was only a micro piece of what we were setting out to do. So at this point, having those multiple streams of income to us mean us really out there doing production. Why not? We're capable of doing it. We like doing it and we make a lot of money doing it. So why would you ever give up that golden ticket? Two, and keep in mind that as I was getting coached, that's what was told to me. Get out of production, get out of production. I should have never done that, but I did. And I'm getting back in and I'm happier than I've ever been, honestly, with that side of it. But having the people leveraged around us, I don't necessarily have to open doors. If I'm working with a client, I can have our showing partner. Usually we meet the client the first time to introduce ourselves, get that buyer's rep agreement signed, let that person know I'm your agent. I'm going to be the one working for you. I'm the trained, skilled negotiator, but I have a team. And you're likely going to be meeting with my showing partner, who is a partner in my business. They are also here to serve you at the highest level, but you're probably going to be meeting with them most of the time when you're out seeing houses. That showing partner is going to bring back that information to me, and I'm always going to be available to help you. But that's a way that we're getting our time back by doing that. We do the same thing with our listings because we too take a large number of listings, and there's a lot of time drain behind the scenes on getting those done. We don't necessarily have listing partners right now, but we have our TC transaction coordinator who helps us with a large portion of our listings, getting them in the MLS, communicating with our sellers, sending out those weekly reports because right now listings are sitting. So making sure that the seller knows what's going on, how many saves on Zillow. So a lot of leverage. And then the third piece of it just being the downline. We are very much focused on growing out that downline, but not in a way that we are willing to jeopardize our future vision or what we're setting out to do. I built a team initially because I thought if I give back to everybody, share my story, and pour into people, that I will get back what I need. And that's not true. So this is my version again of giving back. I learned a lot the really hard way in building this team. And now I want to pour into others that are going through the same headaches. It's been a very long, daunting journey. And I know that I have a lot of experience that can help people don't go through what I went through. I'll just put that out there.
I think that leads us into our next question. What do you like about LPTs that you didn't see at EXP and Real?
The people, number one. A model is a model, right? They all have a cap. Their models are all a lot alike. But my experience was Todd and I moved our entire team over to Real. We got rid of our brokerage. We didn't burn it down at that time. We just shifted. We also had lost our sales manager who passed away during COVID. So a lot of changes moved us into that direction. But I moved everybody over to Real and I loved it. I really did love Real. But I have realized that it's the people. And the people that were at Real when I moved there were my people. They were my mentors. They were people that I'd been at the mastermind tables with and all the things. But I just never found my groove there. I can't explain it. It could have been timing. It could have been a lot of things, but I just never got my groove in Real. LPT, I think in their model, I like that they have the 100% model. It's a great fit for a lot of different people. The team members that did decide to come over to LPT, a lot of them have decided to go into that 100% model, which is fabulous for somebody that's in production. And I don't think any of the other EXP doesn't have that. Real doesn't have that. So that was a big factor, is just having a place where, as I'm out talking to people, some people just they don't want to build a team. They're not ready to build a downline. But if they're doing production, getting as much of that money, especially right now in this market, is incredibly important. So I liked that. And what else? I think for me, it's just the people that I joined in my upline when I joined. They're just people that pour into us. And that flows down to anybody that joins us too. Everybody that's joined us has gotten able to tap into that. They're providing systems and structure and things for you to go and build your business, not just, hey, come and join us. It's great over here, but a real true vision behind how to grow your downline, which I think was a big part of what I was missing at Real too. Nobody had systems. There wasn't really a system that said, here's how we're going to do it. My upline, these are coaches that I used to pay thousands of dollars for too. So I feel like, wow, I'm getting all that stuff that I used to get for all that money. Now I'm just getting it and I'm able to associate with them. They're my friends, so I talk to them all the time anyways. But now they're back to coaching me and helping me and sharing systems and doing all the things that you need, because I think it's a vision and association, really.
I think real estate in general is all about the people you're around.
It really is. It's association. So it just feels right. I can't explain it. And if I go to that, a lot of that might be timing. Just like the timing wasn't right for us to go to EXP. I don't think EXP would have been the right model for us. Maybe it's just where we're at in our business at this time. But we love it. We're so happy. I'll say that.
Yep. Absolutely. So what advice would you give real estate agents who feel like they're stuck in the grind?
Leverage, honestly, try to figure out ways to leverage. Real estate is a grind. And I think when you look at it, the brokerage that we just left, Todd and I saw it so clearly. They don't necessarily see it as clearly as we do, maybe because we've been through it and now we're on the other side of it. When you try to get away from that grind, you forget that real estate is really a people-driven business. You start building this business and you forget that it's the agents and the getting out in front of the client. So if you're trying to get out of that grind, you might want to just ask yourself if you're in the right business. I was wanting to get out of the grind. I was in that, but the grind has never stopped. It's changed. It's evolved. It's gotten worse. It's gotten better. It's gotten into different versions, but the grind has never stopped.
If you're truly a producing agent, you never really get out of that grind because you're the producer and it's hard.
It really is.
How hard has it been to find somebody to replace my production?
I coach a lot of team leaders, and I'm trying to think if there is one team leader that has ever really reproduced their production. I don't know that I'm sure there is, but I'm saying the ones that I've coached, I'm not sure that any of them have actually said, oh, I got the one. And then if you have the one that replaces your production, what happens when they leave?
And sometimes it takes 10 agents to replace
Yeah.
production, and then the overhead on that is
It's a lot of, yeah.
And this market's a little bit different market, I believe.
Oh, it's a lot different out there.
You've got pretty awesome services for agents. Tell us that's about a little bit of what you got to offer.
That is not to sell you guys for sure, but we do have Texas TC services. That's what I leaned into when we burned it all down. So when Todd and I said, and I don't even know, I think we were in the process of burning it down over what, a year period of time. I really leaned into, we started adding like showing partners and different things along the way, along our journey as we were building this team. And so when we decided we were going to burn down what we had and start over, I leaned into those Texas TC services that we had. Number one, to start replacing, because I pay them salaries and that's a big overhead. So I started allowing them to work for outside agents. And I realized what an opportunity it is for other agents out there. So at this time, that's where we're scaling our team, or what we're calling a team. Definitely a much different business model, but we're really rolling it into those services that agents need. That leverage that if I would have known and had that in 2015, I don't think I would have ever launched the version of the business that we did. Maybe we would have. I don't know. The broker owner was desirable at that time, but it was more, I think it was more of a vision that we needed leverage. And then it turned into a wildfire of just a very expensive business that really didn't gain. So we didn't gain anything. We didn't gain anything back. We did get the rental property. We definitely made a lot of money, but a lot of that too was on our own backs and our own time.
I felt like that was a different grind all in itself because I felt like I was carrying that grind with my production and it was hard. So if you're a solo agent, you feel like you're stuck in the grind. Try building a brokerage and carrying that grind with you. It's a lot different grind.
Yeah, it really is.
Other services we all offer as well, believe the private lending.
Oh, yeah, we have partnered with a private lender, you guys. If you are, they really work in the state of Texas. As we were burning everything down, I was thinking maybe I'm going to get out of real estate and do something else, like mortgage. I even took some classes to get my mortgage license, and I thought at least we can get a referral fee off of those. Life has a funny way of showing you the right way. I think I'm getting better at analyzing and seeing those red flags too. I was dreading that test and I never did take that test. In the meantime, one of our agents that's been with us for a very long time stopped showing up, and she's also a dear friend of ours. We were like, what is going on? Where did she go? If she goes, it's definitely time to burn it down. She came back with this creative lending. It's more of a commercial. Aren't they calling it commercial lending? But it's creative.
Private lending.
It's private lending.
You don't
So
do that.
yeah. So in other words, she said, would you be interested in partnering with us to do this? And I was like, I'm intrigued. I'm thinking about taking a mortgage test to become a mortgage originator. Tell me more about this. And so they don't want you to be licensed, but it has saved what, 2 deals of ours at this point that we would have lost just by having these options. So if you got a deal that's falling apart, they don't do homestead. So it's not going to be
Everything has to be done in an LLC.
but it is out of the box thinking. If you've got somebody that you're working with that is an unbankable loan, people can have great credit and still have an unbankable loan that they're trying to get. Todd has been able to use them twice in the last 30 days, really,
Excellent 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks, to save 2 deals that we would have lost. And those are really big deals. On that line, one thing that Todd and I really do a great job at that we want to share on here is the cash offers for sellers. We ran that over the last, what, we've been doing it for probably 5 years. But if you guys need investors, if you've got listings that aren't selling, Todd actually got into something even, we've been doing this for a long time. Just today, he found something even more valuable. You might as well share that. That's amazing.
I'm working on basically the people that can't sell their house, and then they're in dire straits. I've got 1, 2, 3 deals right now that I'm working with a company I found that do cash deals. They do subject to, and they do multifamily as well. At the end of the day, it's seems like a very interesting company.
So if you need a connection to any of this, We got your connection on that. We've been running a cash offer program for a long time. We made a lot of money over the past few years with those
I
cash
would
offer
say between
investors.
cash offers and creative
Yeah,
financing, if you're looking for a way to leverage your business to where you can do less and make more, I can do half the deals and make the same money.
yeah. Lot of opportunity there, though. That is where the seller appointment set that I offer. I've been running these programs forever to capture these sellers. And then what happens is they come through, they want a cash offer. And then there's just so many of them. Todd and I can't go on all these appointments. So we refer them out to agents. We've got a lot of them all over the state of Texas. I'm trying to keep them more focused here in the San Antonio and Austin area, but that's something that we have, and we run them through the cash offer. And the water, and then if it doesn't work out, we refer them out to agents because 99% of them list.
The more people you're in front of, the more deal you're going to get.
It's true. And right now, listings are sitting. I'm sure you guys know that. They're not moving. They're starting to move faster, especially in our area, but they're still sitting. If you don't price them, you are up against the wall for sure with an angry seller. So that's what those cash offers, being able to bring them an offer, even if it's a low offer, just the ability to bring those to them. We have a system that can spit those out pretty quick. So that's something that we offer out to outside agents as well.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing people should leverage in their business to help with their grind, it lessens the grind because I don't have to make as many connections if I can come up with creative things to fill in the spaces.
Yeah. So what are we most excited about our business right now? I would say I am most excited about being back with the people that helped me grow initially.
I would say all your mentors.
Yeah. I'm back with my people in my right environment, and I'm just really excited. It feels like we have a strong foundation under us for the first time. We've been working on a really shaky foundation for a very long time, and it kept telling ourselves we were in the messy middle. You're just in the messy middle. Everybody says, don't give up. Don't give up. If you give up, you'll just lose everything you worked for. And so I kept believing that, knowing that I wasn't aligned with where I was. And I'm just really excited about the alignment. I, for the first time in good grief, 7 years at least, feel like I am where I need to be. I know how to build a business. I know how to work hard. Work ethic is not our problem. We work hard. We have vision. We have resources to be able to do it. Our biggest limitation previously was just being, even if you're 1% out of alignment, you're out of alignment and you're scaling on something that's broken. And we've been scaling on a broken system for a very long time. So burning it down for us was just being true to who we are. If I look back, I wish I would have done it sooner, but there was so much ego there. There's so much pride in what you've given money, you've given time, you've given all this to people that maybe didn't want it.
Well, and I think that goes back to you got to learn, if you're going to build a team, you got to learn to let the people go. Doesn't matter whether you love them or not. You got to let them go if they're not going to do real estate, because if they're not benefiting your team, they're not a good fit.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm excited. I'll just be frank. I'm excited about building a downline in LBT. It takes me back to that beach that we were on in Puerto Vallarta, where we sat there and we dreamed for 2 solid days about what the future could look like. And then we just didn't act on it, or the timing just wasn't right. We are there with the right people, the right systems, everything's just in alignment. And I'm excited to build with the people that can resonate with that. The ones that say, that's me too. I hear you. I'm there. I've been living this too, and I just don't know what to do. I don't think you necessarily have to burn it down for us. I think we put so much in it that we really had to take it down to the foundation and rebuild. We had built a crooked house that was never going to work. I don't think everybody has to burn it down. I think a lot of people might just be a little off in the alignment and maybe aligning with a company, a brokerage where you could have that extra income by building a downline could work for a lot of people. I think there was a time it could have worked for us. we just got so far down the road that it was time. We just decided it was going to be more expensive to keep band-aiding the problem. We decided it's cheaper to go down to the foundation and start over. And
Stop plugging the hole.
yeah, stop plugging the holes.
I would say the whole thing is due to the market conditions. So
The market is, yeah,
it's tough.
it is a tough market out there. All right, let's see what else we got. Any other
I think we're coming up on 3 o'clock. So before we wrap up, what best way for people to connect with you if they want to learn more about the Think Big Network?
Yeah, so the Think Big Network is just a piece of what I'm building. That's my little passion child where I'm dumping all of my knowledge into YouTube and social media, and that's where we're building our downline at LPT. But you can connect with me on social media. I'm sure that's where you guys have gotten the link. My email is misty@mistybruton.com. And then obviously you can DM me on any of my socials. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. That's the easiest and best way. Or just keep joining us here and then let me know if you want to connect. I'll give you my Calendly link. I'm on Zoom meetings with agents and team leaders all day long. So other than working now in real estate and being out with clients again, I'm doing Zoom calls. So I'd love to talk to anybody that is in this messy middle wondering, what's next? What do I do? Do I burn it down? Do I keep it? I'll tell you. I'll take a look at your business and give you a fresh perspective on it because I'm definitely on the other side. What other question? How did our vision change after we burned everything down? Did I answer that one earlier? I don't remember if I got to that one. Our vision is just, like I said earlier, the 7-year plan. Todd and I want to be free to do what we want. Neither one of us want to retire. That sounds terrible. We want to work, but we want to buy a lot of real estate. If I think about our future in 15 years, where we really want to just have the freedom and residual income still coming in, I think about two things. I think about having real estate that we can pay off between now and then with our income that we make in real estate and having that rental income coming in at a significant level. We don't live a simple lifestyle. We like to live a pretty big lifestyle with lots of fun stuff. So
I think at the end of the day, our whole goal is to be able to sit on a beach somewhere and I can still answer my phone and talk somebody through doing a deal and using showing partners and all the assistance.
yeah, leverage. It's all that leverage. So we definitely have a vision of doing that. I don't know that my vision has changed since I burned it all down. I think my vision has always been the same. It's the frustration in the messy middle that just kept getting us further and further away from the vision. The vision has always been be on a beach,
Thank you.
enjoy life, have the money you need, and love life and not feel like you're tied to working for a business or working for the man. It doesn't matter if it's your business or somebody else's. If you're tied to your business, you're working for the man.
I think that it all comes down to work smarter, not harder.
It really is. I think that's our theme going forward. Work smarter, not harder. We're going to deep dive. We're going to keep deep diving into this. So those of you that hung out with us the whole time, thanks for joining. It's always fun to share. We're going to roll this in eventually. We figure while we're in the transition, we're going to leave it as a webinar, but we're going to keep this going every Friday at 2. And eventually, as it's growing, every week it's been growing. It's fun. More and more attendees. So we're going to roll it into more of a mastermind where we can all talk together because we're all in different areas about what's working, what isn't working, and learning from everybody. So I would say in the next few weeks, we'll roll it into that new version, but we'll probably do another webinar next week and deep dive a little bit more into where we're at.
Absolutely. And we appreciate everybody's questions.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Have an amazing Friday. Have a good weekend. We are here. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. My Calendly link is the easiest way, and you can find all of that in my bios in my socials and just get on a call with me if there's anything. Either one of us. Todd is available as well. He's more in the trenches, but if you need like how to negotiate a deal, if you're in Texas, how to write a contract. Some of these contracts are complicated.
Or if you need to negotiate the waters of the new document.
Yeah.
There's so many agents out there that I run into that don't even understand all the
Yeah, it's complicated.
new documents that are putting on us.
Yeah, so just reach out. We're here to help and be safe out there, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.